we come from different cultures and spiritual backgrounds, and then they decided to stick like a corporate guy in here because you hear like my focus was on process and execution of the roles and duties, right? And what am learning about, and then how many times you heard the word esoteric come out of Yachi's mouth today, and with respect to his focus, right, versus zero times from mine, and I love that because I also look at this and masonry almost from like what are our key performance indicators? What are our KPIs? What is the product that we're delivering? What is the service masonry provides? And in a nutshell, for me, masonry sells a quality of life. It sells you a better quality of life by giving you the access to the ritual book to give you a certain instruction manual of that moral compass that you need to make sure you're not outside of that circle. It gives you brothers, right? Because we human beings, we can't just decide that tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be a great guy, or I'm going to be, you know, just the perfect example of what I need to be. We struggle, we fall, we're fallible. We were inherently made to be to make mistakes. So we have guys around us, our brothers, to help us figure out like, hey, I didn't live out this ideal when faced with adversity. Instead, I didn't apply these principles, and here's where I fell short. What did you do the last time? Right? So if we're talking about delivering the quality of life, we have the book, we have the people around us, we have that wall that I mentioned earlier where depending on the industry you come from, what your interest might be, whether it's industry or making a difference in the world, whether it's working on yourselves within the community or from a global perspective, whether it's traveling as a mason and getting to have the entire globe basically put into the palm of your hands, because now you've got family everywhere you go. And I've actually had the pleasure of living that. I 2.5 years ago got my citizenship, and I've been to a little over a dozen countries now as a mason, and it's been an amazing experience. So whether it's that aspect, whatever it is, we are now selling, or we have been, and in particular need to make sure that we know we're selling a quality of life here.
Mm.
And our audience needed to get broader because we're struggling for membership. And so, we weren't reaching deep into the necessarily Buddhist cultures that are all around us in certain cities, or the Hindu culture or the Muslim culture, which tends to just have a little bit more prevalency now. But these are the segments of society that masonry's light needs to go into, both because society needs it. Right? We more than once talked about the fact that society's in turmoil, and we need the light of masonry to penetrate every point of darkness that it can.
Mm.
Society needs us, but we also need to pay bills, and we need members. And so this is a great way to be able to, what does the future hold? Hopefully these campaigns of wellness, campaigns of diversity, campaigns of unity on a grand level, with the day-to-day things we all do by going to lodge, by being the versions of our blue book, being the versions of our degrees in everyday life, right? Walking as upright men and masons. Hopefully that attracts people and keeps people, and together we can start being that background that we once were in that fabric of society that held it all together.